What's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for taking some time today to stop by and hang out with me. I appreciate it so much. Today, we're going to be talking about why you might suck at Marvel Rivals Volume 2. I did a video like this not that long ago, and it was received quite well. So I thought to myself, you know what? We're about to enter the new season right now. Why not retouch on a few of these things and bring in some new discussions as well? So what I have here in store for you is all of the reasons that right now, obviously, there are many more reasons than what I've got here, but some of the big reasons, the main reasons why you might suck at Marvel Rivals. And the good thing here, well, is that you can improve. By understanding these things and having this discussion and acknowledging if you do any of these things, you can become a better player. If you are already subscribed to the channel, thank you so much for doing so. I really appreciate the support. If you have not, just scroll down a little bit, hit that subscribe button. It's free to do so. It helps me out greatly, and it keeps me motivated to continue making these videos. Also, I have a Discord channel now, which is a really cool spot to hang out. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, but the link for that's in the description as well as in my channel bio. Let's get this video started. Now, reason number one, ego. This is a problem in all competitive things in life, just life in general, but it's a really big problem in this game. Your ego can probably make you suck. It can make you unbearable to play with. It can make you do things in the game that, well, you shouldn't be doing, like throwing or picking the wrong heroes or refusing to swap or thinking that you don't make any mistakes, thinking that it's always the other player's fault and you never do anything wrong. This is a problem. If you do this, or you know someone else that does this, well, I'm going to be honest with you, you suck. You need to take a step back. Know that you are probably not the 1%. I'm not the 1%. And you need to look at your gameplay and you need to look at the decisions that you make and the impact that you have on your team and the way that your behavior affects the team that's playing with you, and just take it down a notch. Okay, we're all learning and it's okay to learn. That's the thing about this, is it's okay to not be the best. It's okay to make mistakes as long as you acknowledge it and then you try to be better about it. The only way that you're going to get better at this game is by accepting the fact that you make mistakes, just like everybody else does, and then learning how to make those mistakes less often. If you're always blaming the rest of your team for everything that happens, every loss, every problem, every objective control loss, every time you die, I don't know. Like, why are you playing then? That's like a legitimate question. Like, if everything is always everyone else's fault, nothing good is going to come your way. You need to work on being better. You need to drop the ego and start working on yourself. Practice more. Learn new heroes. Learn how to work better with a team. Maybe don't play solo queue if you have a problem with that. Just play with teammates instead. This can affect your ability to rank up. It can affect your ability to perform well. So, drop the ego. The next one is that you can't flex. This is a really big problem for a lot of players, not being able to play multiple heroes, let alone within one role, but within the other roles as well. You need to be able to play more than one hero. The reason for this is that, what if your only one hero that you know how to play gets banned? What if the only hero that you know how to play is hard countered by the other team? As a simple example, I've been playing a lot of Thing lately because he's going to get a really cool update here for Season 3. I think he's going to have a lot of validity brought back to him, a lot of relevance. I have learned very quickly, if there is a decent Punisher on the enemy team, I can't play Thing. It's just the truth. It's too easy to hit him, and Punisher is doing crazy damage right now. He is an insane counter to Thing, especially because like one of the things that you're really doing as Thing is trying to create space and run into the enemy team and push them back. You're just running into a Punisher that's just standing still shooting you. You're not going to survive it. So I swap. I play a different Vanguard instead. I play someone with a shield so I can kind of combat that constant damage a little bit. Obviously, you know, Punisher's a decent enough counter to the shielding done by Doctor Strange, but not so much to the shielding that's being done by Magneto. So there are other options, right? You need to be able to flex. Knowing how to play one hero is just not enough. If you're new to the game, that's okay. That's fine. If you want to like really spend some time on someone, get a feel for the game, get a feel for the game modes, you don't want to be learning different skills or play styles at the same time, like that's fine. That's acceptable. By all means, learn the maps, learn the feel and the flow of the game, and then start learning some other heroes. That's cool. That's a normal progression, I would say. If you've been playing the game for over 2 weeks and you only play one hero, time to switch. It's time to switch to a different hero, switch to a different role. The more heroes that you understand how to play, the more apt you are to counter them and perform well against them. So you're doing yourself a disservice in more ways than one, right? Just by like, yes, you could be a one trick and you can play against someone who counters you and then there's nothing you can do. You also have lower game knowledge and then you're not able to like actively make changes in game, whether it's just simply positioning based changes or actual hero swapping changes to where you can then counter somebody else because you understand that role. As a perfect example, as you guys know, I play a lot of Jeff and I am very good at Jeff. And because I'm so good at Jeff, I know how to counter him. So if I'm not playing Jeff, like let's say I'm playing a duelist role or I'm playing a vanguard role and there's an enemy Jeff on the team and he's doing super well, I know how to get in the way of that. So I can work on my own, just myself, to shut down somebody who's playing that role and doing it super well. This is my point. If you can't flex, you're doing yourself a disservice and your team as well. So I just listed a few here, a few, I guess, in total, a couple for each category. For vanguards, sit down, learn Magneto and Emma. You can learn, Strange and Thing and Hulk too. That's fine. These two are like the meta right now, if you want to, give priority to two over the rest of them. For duelists, similar concept here. Learn Wolverine, learn Punisher. Wolverine's going to be extremely valuable in season 3. He already is valuable right now, for sure. Punisher is also very, very strong and not too hard to use. The movement is difficult, but to be effective with Punisher, you can just have like a comfortable level with him and you'll do just fine. Strategists, Luna and Cloak. Best healers in the game, straight up. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. The best healers in the game. I would say, okay, Loki is maybe the one like that everyone really should know how to play super well just because of his ult. But like if you're playing strategist to heal, right? One of these two. If you can play all 6 of these, you are in really good shape. And speaking of not being able to flex, some people out there can and they refuse to do so. This is a problem. If you think that swapping is a weakness, you suck. Straight up. No hero, singularly, individually, on their own, is the answer to literally anything that the enemy team can throw at you. This is just something that you need to accept. This comes into being able to flex and learning how to flex that you can do it. Being able to play other heroes and then refusing to do so when the team clearly needs to change, that's a problem. Right? And this goes 2 ways, right? So I just want to kind of like bring this home as far as like swapping is concerned. The ability to be able to change heroes is like the greatest power in the game. Truthfully, think about games like League of Legends or Mobile Legends or Wild Rift, right? Games like this. You're picking a hero in the beginning and you are stuck with them until the game ends. You can't swap once it started. You find yourself playing into a hard counter and you're stuck, and now you have to like adapt your entire gameplay or where you're playing or who you're playing around because you're so hard countered by somebody else. In this game, you can just change. Why wouldn't you? So not swapping is, well, it could be because you can't flex, which would be you have a low game knowledge. You haven't learned other heroes, which I would say after 2 weeks is unacceptable. Just that's my opinion. And then I would say it's also a sign of ego. Plenty of times people don't want to swap because they say, it's not my fault. Why do I have to swap? It's your fault. This is a problem. This is just a problem within the community. This is a problem with communication. I think everyone needs to like realize you can swap. It's okay. It's a good thing, honestly. Your teammates asking you to swap, I get it. Sometimes you can say I'm playing my role just fine. I'm doing what I need to do just fine. Maybe you should swap. I can understand in some circumstances that's a fair retort. However, sometimes the best thing that you can do in this game is to help somebody else play better. So if you swapping is going to make somebody else's job easier, like let's say a tank wants you to swap to a different healer because they just don't feel like they're getting enough sustained healing. As a good example here, let's say you're playing Mantis or something and you need more healing output, and a tank is asking you to swap to Rocket or Jeff or Invis or Luna or something. And you're like, no, what? You should maybe pick a tank with a shield or a different, kit or something so that you have a little bit more survivability. This is where things kind of get a little bit blurred because it's like, well, is the tank making bad choices? Are they overextending? Or is it truthfully that there's just too much damage output from the other team and you playing Mantis just isn't enough? You need to be able to make swaps to help not just yourself out, but to help your team out as well. So really try to analyze the situation and understand when you need to swap and when it's a good idea. Truthfully, I would say you should notice if a swap needs to be made. You actually need to swap. You should notice before somebody else says anything to you. But again, sometimes people ask in the first 20 seconds of the game because they died and it's immediately the healer's fault and you're playing a healer, so they ask you to swap. Okay, that happens sometimes. You can ignore that. But being able to swap is an asset. So don't look at it like a weakness and have it be something that you get upset about or you get defensive about. Someone asks you to swap, just think about it for a second. Could I be more helpful if I played a different hero? What hero is that? And then just make that swap. Another reason, and this one's pretty common, this is something that a lot of people do, you just play on autopilot. If you're playing passively and you're just not really trying that hard, well, it's not going to turn out too well. You need to try to min-max, you need to not be passive, and you need to make sure that you're ready to seize any sort of advantage or opportunity. If you're on autopilot, you're going to be playing passively, you're not going to be min-maxing, and you're not going to be seizing opportunities. So in order to min-max, you need to constantly be analyzing every situation and do what you need to do without any excess. This comes down to, truthfully, like doing overextensions to create room when you don't need that room created and you don't have the support available to you. And therefore you use skills that you could have saved. Now they're on cooldown and now you fail to defend when they push back after the enemy team realizes they can seize the advantage of you overextending. Poor decisions lead to poor skill use, and that can leave you stranded on cooldown. Playing passively is a big problem. I see people doing this a lot. A term that's used for this would be passive pathing. And this is when you're just roaming around the map, not doing anything purposeful. You're not like running specific routes that have the strongest potential or the highest likelihood of you gaining an advantage by using that pathway. Try to move through the map purposefully. Wandering around will leave you into unfavorable situations, and just approaching the point without paying attention to the area around you is it's never a good idea. You're going to get ambushed, you're going to get surprised. You might get eliminated and you didn't even make it to the point. Now, as far as seizing the advantage goes, you just need to be positioned well and aware, right? You need to be locked in so that you can capitalize on any opportunity against the enemy. This could be them overextending. This could be someone just being out of position and being too available. Or this could be the enemy team using a skill, and therefore now you know, okay, let's say for an example, Cloak just used her cloaking skill, Mag just used his bubble, Hulk just used his bubbles. What a wonderful time for me to use my Jeff ult. Right? These are things that you need to be paying attention to. Be ready for any opportunity to pick or push, but then equally be prepared for any sort of signal that's letting you know that it's time to back up and regroup. It's also possible that you never VOD review. This is a really big deal. The ability to watch your games back and analyze them, to be able to watch them with a friend and have them help you look at mistakes that you make, whether it be skill use, positioning, accuracy, routes that you take, heroes that you play against certain matchups. This is a big deal. This is really the only way, the only really true way that you can understand how effective you are in a game and understand how effective your teammates were. I've talked about stats many times. We're going to talk about them again in this video, but this is an objective-based game, and all we have available to us are team deathmatch-based stats. You don't know how effective somebody was at holding the objective or stalling the objective unless you watch that game back. Because chances are you're not really paying attention to what they're doing because you're paying attention to what you're doing. So VOD reviews are that's the full story, right? Stats are not the full story. By doing VOD reviews of yourself, doing VOD reviews for your friends, having your friends do VOD reviews for you, this is just a phenomenal learning experience, and it's something that is given to us. It's prepared by the game. Within the game, you have your videos to watch. You don't need to be able to record yourself playing. You don't need to stream. You don't need to do any of that. It's in the game. It's an asset. Make sure that you use it. Another reason would be that you're missing the point, and I mean that quite literally. This is an objective game. You control the objective, or you lose, flat out. The baseline of this game as it stands right now, King of the Hill and Escort, the payload, right? If you are not controlling these things, you're not going to win. Just flat out. You need to keep your team alive. You need to focus on the enemy heroes that are keeping the enemy team alive. And you need to try to outlast the enemy team so that you are the team that maintains consistent control of the objective. Obviously, eliminations are important. I don't ever want to say that they're not, but if you're just working effectively as a team and you can push back the enemy teams so that you can just keep space around the objective for control, you're going to win. I would place objective control as the highest priority because literally you can't win unless you control the objective. Healing being secondary because you can't stay alive to control the objective if you don't have healing. If you have no healers on your team and the enemy team has one healer, you're probably not going to be able to do it. Third place for importance, I would put damage and eliminations there. You need to be dealing damage. You need to be going for the eliminations, yes, but you need to be dealing damage more so just to get them to back up. Creating space, keeping them off the objective. This is the whole point. You don't really need to get an elimination to win a game, but It is helpful, yes. And that kind of leads into this discussion, the stat issue. I said we were going to talk about this again. This is a topic that I just kind of feel like I have to bring this up often. I have to talk about this every now and again because it's like, I see it every day. I see it every time I play. People self-validate with their stats at the end of losses. It's always at the end of losses. It's never after a win. Every once in a while, sure, you get that one toxic person that you win and they still got to be like, I did everything. But whatever, that's a wholly different discussion there. But I would say, I don't want to repeat myself too much because I kind of like talked about this before, but we're playing an objective-based game, but we're only given team deathmatch stats. We need to see objective stats in this game, and I'll beat that statement to death. Like for real, I will just continue to say that. We need to know about objective hold time, stall time, objective captures, healing within the objective, dealing damage within the objective, getting eliminations in the objective. These are things that we need to see. They're available in other games. I don't know why we don't have these stats in this game when they made this game entirely objective based, and then they just said like, forget the objective stats. We don't need those. It's super weird to me. It really is. They need to add these like immediately. Validating your gameplay based on damage assists and final hits is just not a good way to be looking at this game. It's all about objective control. Think about this. You can win both game modes available to us in competitive mode. You can win both of them without getting a single elimination. They do not help you charge the objective percentage. They don't give you additional percentage. Nothing. Getting eliminations just helps you control it. But if you're creating enough damage and pressure and presence that you're constantly pushing the enemy team back, you could win without getting a single elimination. Think about that. Like for real, think about that. I know getting eliminations, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. But if that's what you're chasing, you're playing the wrong game. If you're chasing the elimination because you want the stat, that's a problem. If you're chasing the elimination because you are actively trying to get somebody off the objective so that you can help to control it, so you can be there to control it, okay, now we're on the right track. It's just a mentality thing. Is what it is, truthfully. It's all about how you look at your eliminations and what those eliminations mean to you. If it means you got some stats and it looks great on your scorecard, then you're not playing the game right. You just gotta look at these stats the correct way, and we need to see it. We need to see the objective stats be brought into this so that people can understand how helpful people actually were, because when you're just looking at eliminations and damage dealt and healing, it's just not the whole story. Just flat out, it's not the whole story. Another reason you suck is because you talk too much. This is something that I deal with all the time. I have not turned my voice chat on since like week 2 of playing this game for me, and it was a great idea. I'm really glad I turned it off, and I doubt I'll ever turn voice chat back on. I go back and forth with text chat. I will leave it on sometimes, and other times I do turn it off. But man, there is nothing worse than people that just feel like they have to talk. So because they don't have their voice chat turned on for whatever reason, or they don't have a microphone, they sit and they type. They just have to say something. If you just have to say something in this game, I don't know. You suck. Just play. Just play. Take a step back from, this is like, it's always ego talking to. It's arguing. For what purpose? This person's going to be out of your game in the next few minutes and you're never going to talk to them again. What's the point? What is the point? To have conversations in game that are productive, that are helpful, that are encouraging, that are optimistic, that's wonderful. That's an amazing thing. But to be rude, to be unkind, to be judgmental, to argue, to make assumptions, to try and belittle people. Why? Why? Talking too much, being more primed to start hammering the keys on your keyboard rather than just change heroes, make some kind of adjustment to your playstyle, and just getting in the game and trying to make a difference. I don't know. Knock it off. This is the biggest one for me. This is the biggest one, like for real, of why people suck or why maybe you suck at this game, is because you don't want to work for the win. I swear on everything. As soon as the game gets hard, the complaining begins. This can happen within the first 30 seconds. The game starts, they immediately get a team wipe. Here comes the complaining. Open the floodgates. It's insane. It's insane to me. Not everybody. Okay, I don't want to make a blanket statement here, but I feel like from my experience, a lot of the people that I play with, as soon as it gets tough, as soon as it gets difficult, they throw in the towel. They'd rather complain than try. As soon as they realize they're not about to get an easy win, it just becomes just a toxic, argumentative environment. unpopular opinion here, but I like the games that are difficult. I like when you have to make swaps and you got to work against counters and then they swap too. I like when there's like that level playing field of both skill and game awareness and intelligence, and you got to like really work for that. Man, when you get those wins, that feels amazing. And when you lose those games, it doesn't sting that much. It was a good game. I think that that's fun. This is part of the competition. This is part of the game, is like trying to outplay the opponent, right? It's funny. People want their games to go their way in the same way that they complain about the games that don't go their way. Does that make sense? I don't know if I said that in a way that makes sense. Everyone complains about the EOMM giving them a team that's like absolutely terrible and the enemy team's great. It's what's wrong with this game. But then they get the other side of that, where the enemy team is really bad because of the EOMM. And they win, and they're just so happy about it. It's just very contradicting. I think it's very contradicting, and I think it's really stupid. I think if you're playing this game because you want the easy win, then don't play competitive, because it's called competitive for a reason. This is your ranked mode. You should be ready to lock in. You should be ready to try. And if the game being tough bothers you, don't play it. Just don't play it. And if you bring that mentality into the game and you are that way with your team because you're not getting an easy win, then you suck. Well, that'll conclude my reasons for today. I'll get off my soapbox now. Let's talk about some heroes to prioritize and learn right now. We've got season 3 coming out very soon. I put these in top priority. I wanted to give you a good example of heroes to prioritize. I put a lot of the vanguards in here. Vanguards are very important right now, and they're important for very different reasons. But objective control, telling you, we need more of it. We need more of it. We need more of an understanding about how to control the objective. I've got some good DPS players in here, and I've got some strategists too. There's a wide variety. We don't have many vanguards. Most of them are present here. We don't have many strategists. Most of them are present. They're all valid. From those two categories, almost all of them are valid. Mantis and Adam are also very valid in their own way, but not just like in an everyday type scenario, every team comp scenario, whereas these are valid in just about every team comp. Right now, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with learning any of these heroes, just flat out. This isn't an order. This isn't any one of these is better than the other. They're all very good in their own way. Pick the play style that you like the most. Learn 2 from each role. Start there. And from those 2, within that role, pick the 2 that have the play style that you like the most, you have the most fun with, and then just get good at it. Get confident with that hero. You can't go wrong. Truthfully, you cannot go wrong. I kind of felt weird making a tier list. That's what I started out doing for this. I wanted to put in like a super comprehensive tier list. But then the more I was like putting it together and moving heroes around, the more I just really thought to myself, like, I feel like tiering right now, it doesn't really feel as valid as just signifying priority. Because truthfully, like, who cares if Punisher is better than Hela? Who cares? They're both good in their own way, right? If someone's a Punisher main and Punisher gets banned, they're probably going to play Hela. If Hela gets banned and they also play Punisher, they're probably going to play Punisher. I just think comparing heroes is something that people are doing a lot within this game, and saying like, oh, this hero's garbage. Like, I'm sure somebody might say, well, maybe not now because I'm going to say this, but be like, Scarlet Witch is not a priority. Scarlet Witch is not good. She doesn't translate into higher elo gameplay. Who cares? Scarlet Witch can carry you through the early ranks. And let's be real here, the majority of us are below Celestial, myself included. I played a game as Scarlet Witch the other day because we needed a better counter for Spider-Man. Made a huge difference. We won because I made that swap. Like, I will say we won that game because I was swapping. And I was actively doing what I could to protect our strategists. And the number one thing that we had to do was deal with Spider-Man. And they had a Black Panther as well. And they were both very good. I swapped to Scarlet, shut the whole thing down. They have use cases. And just because you play a hero, or you say like, you should prioritize learning Wolverine, let's say, you don't have to play him the whole game. Swap to other people as needed, make changes, but know how to play heroes from this. And you're not steering yourself in a bad direction. Sure, some of them might be easier to get wins with in the earlier ranks and then harder to get wins with in the later ranks. Okay. All right. But I can tell you right now, being in Grandmaster, all of these are very valid. They're very valid right now. Depending on your team composition, depending on the map, depending on the enemy team's composition, that determines how valuable some of these heroes can be. So just be ready to swap. With all that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in to another video. I'm absolutely loving making these videos, and I'm even loving the Discord more. It's so much fun, so many cool people. We're doing VOD reviews in there. We've got team up games going on here. We're gonna do some scrimmages here starting soon. It's fun. It's an amazing place. If you want to get better at this game and you want to play with other people that aren't going to judge you, or treat you poorly or be unwilling to help you with your gameplay, then this is going to be the Discord for you 100%. I've got the link in the description. I've also got it in my bio for my channel as well. Hope to see you guys there. Again, thank you for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.